Hey there everybody, welcome to another interesting video at Codemy. Uh, it will be a little different today. I'll not be coding on a screen. Instead, I will be explaining already written code of my Pac-Man game that I wrote, and I used processing to make this game. It is a Java-based environment, and sketching is a lot easier here than using a simple GUI with Java. So here's a preview of the game. You can play with the arrow keys, and at this time you can say that I'm cheating a little. My Pac-Man's speed is twice as fast as the ghosts, and so you can see that it is a little easier for me to play, but this is just for demonstration. And I have implemented all the game mechanics that there are. Only the spawn place of ghosts is not the same as the game itself, but you can eat the big food, it turns them blue, and other stuff also. So this is the game, and let's now go to explaining a little code, and then we can go ahead and start playing it a little for previews. So the first thing that I want to say is behind the screens are just blocks, as you can see here. If I show you like this, you can see that there are small blocks in the game, and all of these blocks are basically are the key component of the game, and the pinkish blocks you see are is the path where we can go, and the black, everything black is prohibited actually. And so this sits behind the map picture that we see like this. So behind this picture is actually that grid. So that is what is happening behind the scenes. So that is the first thing that I wanted to say, and to explain much more into detail about those blocks is this block class. So there are rows and there are columns, and I set them here with this size and the size of my screen. That is the size of my map actually. So it has a lot of different variables. It has a variable of whether it has been visited or not. So these variables are used by different other classes. For example, these ones are used by the search algorithm, not no. These four are used by the search algorithm to find the path for the ghost to reach the Pac-Man, and these three are to render the obstacles and food on the screen. And then there is this constructor whenever I call the block, and you can see that these blocks are first declared here in the setup function that is ran once when we start the program to run. Then it has a show function. So in this show function, what is basically whether if I'm in the debug mode, that I switch on by pressing in D, I can see the blocks here. So if I am in the debug mode, and if this is not the obstacle, so I see the path, that is the pink rectangles, that squares that we saw on the screen. Then there is the big food. In the big food, that I have just simply made an ellipse, and then there is normal food, and then I have made smaller ellipses. Then there is the show food function. This function is not being used at the moment. I used this one earlier before I had all this debug information and big food. So this is just an extra piece of code here. Then there is this add neighbors function. This is used by the search algorithm. I'll explain it when I get there. Then there are some helper functions to make things visualize better. I can make a rectangle, I can make ellipse, I can make a line from one block to another like this. The next thing that I want to explain is the Pac-Man class. So the Pac-Man has knowledge of its position in pixels, and as well as the row and columns in the grid that I have already shown you earlier. Then this variable. So there are some variables that are extra that I used before I added the pictures for Pac-Man and other ghosts. So there might be some extra pieces of code you see, like this one. This is not necessary now. Then there are some boolean variables that can turn and then score. When we initialize Pac-Man, we have to give it a row and column where it starts initially, and then there is an update function. What this update function does is it calculates whether or not Pac-Man can move, and if it can move, then it moves either in a straight line, or if I have turned it, then it turns there and moves, and then it updates its position to the next row and column according to what pixel it is currently at, and then it eats food if there is any. So showing Pac-Man is just I just render the image of Pac-Man on at that pixels, the position at which the Pac-Man is. Then eat function is basically very simple. If there is food at the place where Pac-Man is at that row and column, I just eat that food, and then at the score, if I eat a big food, I scare the ghosts, and then there's something that that happens when the ghosts are scared. Basically, it is triggered here whenever we eat the big food. The scaring of the ghost is triggered. And then there is the scan move function. This is a very important function and a very tricky one. So what happens in this function is when we move Pac-Man, when I'm moving Pac-Man, it first looks. I have to look two ways. I have to look whether or not I can move, and whether or not I can turn, and whether or not I can move forward. So I find two positions. One is at the turning position, that is found by this force, and this force is basically a vector that I send from where is it, this key pressed function, and it is obviously the bound to my keys. Whenever I press one key, I send in one vector according to the direction, and which is right here, and I receive them here. And if I haven't pressed anything, this will basically be 0, and then this turning position will be actually the same position that Pac-Man is at, and the forward position will always be the velocity, adding whatever it will look into one position ahead in future, and determine whether or not we can move there. And if this position is an obstacle in the map, then we cannot move there. But if it is not an obstacle, then we can move there. And if we can turn, what we do is we add that force to our velocity and then return true. So basically what this function does is it finds whether or not we can move forward or turn. If we can move forward, we just simply return true with the same velocity, but if we can turn, we add the turning force to our velocity and then return true. So that's basically the simple explanation to this function. So the next thing is the ghosts class. So the ghosts class is pretty simple. It also has its position on according to the pixels, and also it has the knowledge of its row number and its column number on the grid that we have seen earlier. And the show function is simple. If it is scared, we show a blue picture. If it is not, then we show the pink. This is the pink ghost, so I show the pink ghost here. If we go in the green, I render a green picture here. So other than that, then there is a show path. I can turn this show paths. This is a boolean variable. I can toggle this with a key on the keyboard, that is S, and we can see the path that they are following, the path that ghosts are following here. So this is how we can see that the ghosts are following a certain path, and they are trying to find the Pac-Man using that path. So I'll get to that, how that path is being found and how they are following that. So to explain further about the pink ghost class, there's this update function. What this update function does is it finds the path of the ghost. If there's something inside the path, then we move to the next index, the next block in that path ghost path, and move my ghost to the next position, and then update its row and column index. So the red ghost is the same, and the green ghost is also the same. There is a minor difference in these two. in these three that I will explain here in my search algorithm class. So this is basically the you can say the artificial intelligence of the ghosts, how they find where the Pac-Man is and chase it down. How it finds that, it uses the A-star search algorithm, and this needs to be provided with the value, the block that currently ghost is at and the block that currently Pac-Man is at. So yeah, I provide that in my game class here, but when it receives here, it receives this every frame. So I have to set these variables back to their initial values, because these are changed whenever we run this function. So after that, there are some other variables. I have explained all this in another video that you can see, that is available to watch on my channel. Then there is a getter function. You can get the path that it has found from this block to this block with this function. And then there is the find path function, which basically finds the path. If we go here in our game class and go over to our draw function, so draw function is very simple here. We find a path for the red one, for the red ghost, and then red ghost is updated accordingly. Then we find the path for the green one, and then it is updated accordingly. And if I go in my find path function, you can see here I am making a new search algorithm instance here, and then I'm calling the get path function, that is this one. Sorry, not this one. I'm calling the get path function here, this one. So it returns the path there, and after that you can see that when I call it here, there should be find path somewhere here. Where is it? So this is basically very simple, and whichever one I call it to, I find the path here, like this one, and then I return. This basically runs over and over again for red one, then green one, then pink one, then red one, then green one, then pink one. So this is how it is running the game. So this is the path that they are following, and I can also turn on and off this this intelligence. So another thing that I would like to mention here is the green ghost is basically seeing 10 places in future and trying to reach to that position, and the red one is looking 10 position in the past that the Pac-Man was at, and the pink one is trying to reach to the exact position that Pac-Man is at. So this way it is a little easier for ghosts to chase down the Pac-Man, rather than just following all of them following the same thing, that is the Pac-Man's position, like this. So here in this here at this time, you can see that all of them are following the same path, because they are trying to reach at the same position. But if they are using the artificial intelligence that there is, then they will try to reach Pac-Man in different position, and they can one way or another, you can say that they can ambush me differently. One coming from behind, one coming exactly to my place, one is looking at the future where I'm going to do, where I'm going to reach. So that is easier for them to basically find Pac-Man. So this is pretty much it for this Pac-Man game. The whole source code is available on my GitHub repository, that the link of which will be available in the description of this video. There are a lot of other things that you can add. For example, is resetting the map when you have eaten all the you can say food. And another thing is you can implement the concept of lives and start over whenever we hit a ghost or something. Another thing that you can do is basically write a different class that is of ghost, and move all the common code that is in all these three classes, and then basically inherit these class from that the one class only. That will make it easier to read, and there will be less code to read actually. A lot of other things that you can do. So let me know what you think about this game. Let me know how we can improve that. Maybe I'll come back in future and refactor this in some way, but not now. So that is pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe the video, subscribe the channel, like the video and comment on it. Help the channel grow, and I hope I was able to teach you something through this small video. Goodbye, take care, until next time.